United Financial Group is a trust asset management company. Investment into the development of new generation innovative drugs. UFG is the most potential and promising industries, including safe medicine and IT blockchain development. Our mission is to develop a well-balanced investment portfolio for everyone. United Financial Group, invest with us and create your own future. Welcome to our webinar. And let's begin with biotechnologies, of course. Did you know that investment has become one of the metrics of high level of living for the Russians, and investment into securities and shares has become even more promising and prestigious than having a car or traveling. So when Russians were asked to call top most important high-quality life metrics, most of the Russians have put good nutrition on the first place. This is 67.2%. Second place is taken by high-quality medicine, 67%. Third place, availability of own flat or house, 60%. Fourth place, good education. But investment into securities is only on top 5, on the 5th place, because in most developed countries, this is number 2 or number 3, because when people have a chance to invest, they do so. And 40.3% of respondents gave this answer. And investment as a factor of high quality of life was named by major cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, and Kazan, with more than 1 million residents. Top 5 answers is not having a personal car, maybe because the respondents always live in traffic jam. But this is not a life quality metric, I would say. This is 6th place, 32.8%, and a few respondents also named a chance to travel, 27.9% of Russians. And the question is, where are people investing at the moment? We keep saying that people, wise people, invest in biotechnologies. And where to invest? Where do we, you and me, as private investors, should invest? I know that most investors, or those investors who focused on biotechnologies and IT in the 90s, have gained a lot, and a new sector that is going to change the economy and people's lives in the coming decades is biotechnologies. And according to the definition of McKinsey, biological innovations have 4 areas: biomolecules, reflection and engineering of molecules, biosystems, cells, organs, and tissues, biomachines, which is an interface between biology and machines. We know what is kinetic prosthesis, so this is one of the examples. Biocomputing, the usage of cells and molecules like DNA and RNA molecules for calculations. And biotech has been used across many industries and grow much faster than IT sector for the last 20 years, and the cost of technologies has been decreasing. Do you know what is human genome sequencing? It took 13 years and $2.7 billion. Back in 2009, a commercial set for genome sequencing costed $100,000, and 10 years later, just 10 years later, owing to the development of technologies and investors who were investing into that technology development, the sets back in 2019 costed $1,000. Do you understand? Well, as long as technologies grow, and owing to this development, they get cheaper, and medicines get less expensive, and the quality increases too. We all remember that by forecast, by 2050, every sixth human being on Earth would be over 65 years of age, and they would need high-quality leisure time and time spending on retirement, and they would need power and health to do so, because it's much better to rest when you are healthier. And this is very profitable by forecast, because the prognosis is that the growth is expected, and let me see, huge amounts. We have already discussed that with you. Another point, apart from IT, biotechnologies need a lot of input money, or money at the initial stage, and they would give profit back after 10 or 15 years, and they start having issues at initial stage. It is hard to define how potential the project is, and to define the product, how well it is, without certain background education. And biotech startups to evaluate is hard. The discounting level is not applicable here. And a big deal is about attention and analysis of companies' operations. Another problem is that biotech companies, are sometimes overevaluated. What happens? When high-profile venture companies invest into certain startups, all the rest begin investing too, and the company inflates, and it is overcapitalized. However, it has no profit, and companies are feeling good, but investors are not. They are having damage or losses. Tyrannus founders are now being sued in the United States. There was a good idea to have an instant blood test, and that attracted attention of major investors. That idea lasted for 15 years, and was evaluated at $9 billion, and it used to be a fake from A to B. You can imagine what kind of fraud it is. So, usually, when the functionality is supported by the test, the company's cost goes up, and then the second stage of testing begins, licensing and scaling. That lasts for years, but investors have to be patient, and it pays back. Unlike IT developments, information technologies, IT sector has survived its boom times, and it's going down. But biotech products and technologies have impact on all processes in all industries. They are not just introduced into traditional things, they are game changers and they innovate in many other areas, like in an IT industry, and they work in synergy. We can see a revolutionary growth of technology. You know what is a revolutionary technology, right? Owing to Apple, we all have sensor phones. This is a revolutionary technology. Owing to Apple, we don't have cameras. We're using a phone camera that is having a good quality, not worse than professional gadgets. And owing to that trend, owing to the growth of such technology, the first biotech investor grew very rich. For instance, Brian shares, big medicinal producer, has grown by factor 170 in 30 years. A British genius majoring in genetic technologies has become more expensive by factor 54 in 20 years. What is the most invested areas? Pharmaceuticals and therapy. 90% of all biotech products relate to medicine and healthcare industry. And the interest to the industry has grown since COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020 only, biotech companies received over 13 billion worth of investment, and those startups that joined the market in 2019-2020 with shares for hundreds of $1 million, now their market capitalization is $1 billion, and over the last 5 years, investor focus has shifted to later stages when companies transfer from clinical test to expansion and growth. To be able to only bigger venture funds can buy at earlier stages, and we are very good by trusting and supporting our company at this stage. We all remember that if we invest at earlier stage, the profit, if the company goes well, would increase sharply. And what are the advantages that we have? What pluses do we have versus other companies? What do we have to pay attention to? I mean investors who are interested in biotech. High level of understanding and functionality at earlier stages is a plus. Once a pharmaceutical shows good results, you can buy shares, and the risk for testing and development, because 90% of all pharmaceuticals do not pass through preclinical trials. We know that the clinical tests are... You know the clinical test situation with our company, but we know that the advantage and risks are there. But what is available too versus other companies? What has to be taken into account? It doesn't matter what kind of biotech industry is that, private or personal investment, or venture funds or mutual funds. To select a facility for long-term investment, you need to focus on the following features of the company. First of all, this is a project team. Back in the 40s, where global leaders have understood that physicists and chemists and biochemists are not researchers or scientists. This is army, and the pandemic made everybody believe that biochemists are troops. Talent is key here. As you know, we interact with a leading expert team from the leading laboratory of the country, Moscow State University, and there should be no doubt that our team is very professional. We need to have a flexible organization. Research and development in many countries have tax breaks, so the jurisdiction is important. But not less important is the fact that the core team should be placed near the biotech cluster and employees to be able to work from any place in the world, no matter what is their citizenship. And we know that geography of our administration team is pretty wide, and we have people from many countries and republics. And this is also good. Another important point is commercial development. Biotech is good because the same formula, process, or product can be applied to many industries. And it's good when a company diversifies its developments for multiple uses. If you remember, I was telling about the fact that astromelanin has not only an anti-tumor action, but it is also applied at various diseases, one being diabetes. That is a reason of high mortality of population and may happen at unexpected times. And by the way, the major focus is on anti-tumor actions of astromelanin. Why are we doing that? Because cancer is the second biggest reason of mortality in the world, and irrespective of the money that a person has, sometimes it's not possible to win that disease, and we are doing a big thing, and an important thing, and useful thing. And I can also tell you a news. Are you interested? Set a plus if yes. So good, thank you. Well, today I was talking to Yevgeny, and the news is that we have already doing in vitro and in vivo tests for cellular interaction with cancer cells. And according to the recent research, there was a solid phase nuclear magnetic resonance of melanin that we obtained ourselves through our researchers, and that test gave a good result corresponding to all the documents and the tests of Svetlana Lyakh. So the results described in her book that we have digitized and printed on the internet as well as other sources, those results are in line with what we have at our laboratory, and that melanin, as it turned out to be, is similar by structure and design as Svetlana Pavlovna had. Another important piece of news: our development is in the focus of attention of a major pharmaceutical company. You can imagine what it means. We're moving on despite any doubt. And today there was another news that we are offered to apply for a grant for further development of that medicinal drug. What does it mean? It means that not much time is left to invest in our company. I'm not going to run into details. If interested, please ask Evgeny, because this is at the negotiation stage, but the news are good. Little time is left. If you remember, when Bitcoin began to grow, Ethereum too, many were trying into that growth and they tried to buy. And there was no guarantee that it would grow. But here we can see on paper that the results are there. And there were tests, there were research conducted, so action now, my friends. Don't expect the time when another major investor comes in and would buy all shares with just one investment, would understand what we don't understand yet, and he would block all our investment opportunities into UFG. At the moment, we are on the 8th investment stage, and not much time left. You all know about word of mouth and networking. News are spreading fast. The whole world would breathe out this year, because this year is going to be much easier than the previous one, and the break, we will have a break this year finally, and we'll see what's going to happen next. Let's discuss it, whether it's for better or worse, but now let's pay attention to the slide. Since Evgeny has said that dividends would not be paid in February because there is no profit, many of you began offering various options of how to resolve the issue. And that reminds me of a joke or an anecdote. When Chinese were planted potatoes, they worried that they don't get more potatoes tomorrow, so they dig a potato today and dig out tomorrow. So let's not do as they do. Investment is on the 5th place, but nutrition, the same potato, is on the 1st place. The company is offering good, very good conditions for purchase of the money, of the shares. Have any of you bought a New Year or Christmas gift? There were 27 balsams to get free. 27 balsam bottles. How much money is that? You can imagine. And a discount. Please set your pluses in the chat. Why am I telling you this? Because we know that the minimum company investment is $25. And this is a disbursement cost. There is a rule of thumb. To invest, you have to spend 10% for philanthropy and 10% on investment. And if you invest 10% of your income, that's very good. Many major investors, they invest first and then distribute that 10%. They invest 10% first and then distribute all the rest for their own purposes. So you can drink coffee at home. Indeed, you can do that. And such a little investment, $25 per month, You can invest $50 per month now, and you can imagine what's going to happen in a while, in a few years, when our company is showing a very good growth. I am confident that many of you, if asked personally, what would you change in your life back in 2012, many of you and myself would answer, I would have invested into Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And many, when that growth took place, they wanted to do it once again. So look, at the moment you have a chance to invest into our company. Why our company? Because you own the company. Owing to your investments, you have company shares, and you can invest and get much more. We know that shares would grow. The company capitalization and the cost of research would be growing because we do a lot of good research and discoveries. This is 100% safe, non-toxic preparation. Over 50 years of research, there was no single precedent for toxicity or any health damage. The only of its kind, unsurpassed in the world, and we own it. Can you imagine what is that? And the shares are in short supply. I would set the same example for cryptocurrency. There is blockchain, there is a limited number of shares, of coins, and their cost would grow. So make your conclusions and think about future. And I think that this investment statistics in this country into shares is in the 5th place because we always think about today. We have a proverb or a saying that this is our mentality. This is true genetically. And we know that we don't think about a problem when the problem starts. We have to be wiser financially, and we need to be wiser about investments. I always remind a cup of coffee. Don't invest into coffee shops or coffee machines. Invest into your future. Invest into your own capital. If you invest today $1,000 into a few payments, $25 minimum, just only $25, you're investing into your future. Invest into your pocket. Come on, guys. You know what I mean. So it's all in our hands. I know that there is another saying that leopard will never change its spots, but we're not leopards. We are Soviet people and or children of the Soviet people, and we can change our mindset, our thinking. We can get financially wiser, but no one taught us how to do it, and nobody would teach us because this is not profitable for the state, and this is your life and your health. And those who use Rusic balsam 3 times per day would stay healthier even if all coronavirus people would cough at him. That person stays healthier, and that's all gives power to have a good life. There is a preparation like that, and the company is doing more. So you need to spend 20 minutes per day, spend biotech investment opportunities, research it. Just 20 minutes per day. It's not much. Listen, for a good luck, I'm telling you, Sergey, you can cut it out if I'm dropping the subject. My question is, who is watching weather forecast in the morning or in the evening before going out? Please set pluses. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking that question. Many many have a phone widget showing weather forecast, and this is visible on your screen. Look, we are paying attention to the weather forecast, but we know that it may not happen. There may be sunny weather or rainy weather, but we take an umbrella anyway. Why am I telling you this? There is a very ancient science, astrology, and there were teams of astrologists or astronomers at kings or queens or stargazers, and the key developments happened and could be forecasted. So this year already started, and this year would bring you much joy because of Jupiter, and all the changes would be for the better, even if you don't feel like that initially. And I can repeat that life is a wonderful picture, even if it looks like a stain to you. When time comes, you will be able to see that this is not a stain. This is a wonderful flower that brings you joy and happiness. And even today, you're feeling bad because you don't have a cup of coffee with your friend. Believe me, it's better to invest in yourself. This is the best investment. Into yourself, but not your stomach. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Let me read the chat now. Anton speaking. He received a gift. He is grateful, and the company gave this gesture of gratitude for your trust into the company, for your patience, and because you supported us at the initial stage when we only had a roadmap. I can see a plus. My congratulations with your purchase. Alex asking, well, let's assume melanin would bring us millions or billions. Can we only get dividends, and do we invest further or stop investing? Answer: what happens? No one knows for sure. We know that the product that is being developed, it's already proven by Svetlana Liach. The product does not have just one application, and most likely, and it's obvious, that it's going to be used against cancer, against tumor, as well as against other diseases. So you can invest into other startup companies if you have fully calculated and calculated your happy future, so you can invest into other companies. And I know that there is a chance to invest at the moment. What's going to happen next? For micro investors, I don't know what will happen. If company goes public and shares would be on sale, it's going to be secondary sale. But now we have a chance to invest properly. I'm not probably answering your question, I'm just thinking aloud. We are going to invest from our dividends. The question is, answer. I don't quite know what you mean. To have something potential. Well, anyway, thank you for your support today. I am sure that you like the news. I like the news because they bring me hope. And I'm very joyful because we are working in such a green and environmental business. If you have no more questions, so let me check. No questions. So I wish you a good new year. Today we're celebrating the so-called Old New Year. I am trying to have a holiday every day. This is the state of my mind, and I wish you the same. Despite dizziness or cold weather that is taking place in Russia, including Sochi, I want your heart to always be warm. I wish you health to you and your relatives, and I would be very happy if UFG, using your funds, would help you support and keep your health. And if we get rich and wealthier, that would be even better. So I had the pleasure to be with you today. I wish you well, and until next time.